Takkar hails you welcome. The night holds many dangers and surprises, but fear not, fellow hunter. The hunted has you covered. At one point, and if you leveled your health and fortitude somewhat reasonably, the negative effects of seeds will only affect you to a minimum. At this point, there's really no point to hold back, because you should also have plenty of access to them. Level 50 meant Takkar finally had access to flyer dinos, namely a pteranodon. You can unlock the simple saddle with level 45, but the Terra saddle is still locked until you've reached level 50. The Hunted introduces auto egg collecting oviraptors, like we have in ASA. Unfortunately, you have to set them to wander to make the feature work, and their AI isn't really the best one. Leashing them is valid to hold them in place, so they don't constantly piss you off in narrow spaces. The structure you see here is from a mod named Safe Waters 2. It's just another nice addition that plays very well with the hardcore setting of the Hunted. It grants you several craftable resources and auto-producing stations that come for a tough price. Time to add a proper fish feeding structure. I guess everybody understands how much of a game changer it is to have access to a flying Dino, even in vanilla. But careful, the Terra in the Hunted is very nimble. It's basically the iguanodon of the skies, so to say. Make sure to stay far away from wyverns and rhinos and you should be alright. For the Terra, I'd recommend leveling weight, stamina, and speed first, then follow up with a bit of health if you must. You want this flyer to be a proactive scout. Investing huge amounts of health and melee damage is futile in the Hunted. Rather use a lance or pike if you are forced to fight.
I am starting to become quite cross with Mr. Nerva's impatience.
The strategy Takkar was focusing was quite simple.
always tried.
unlock all the boxes that were previously blocked by 2 tough attackers. This catapulted the Patera pretty damn quickly through the levels. Of course, higher tier airdrops became an option now as well, without taking too much risk getting ambushed. But Takkar still wanted to be quick about it.
Phiomia ignavus is another of the island's generally docile herd animals. They are small enough that almost any predator can bring them down, but like stubby trunk to scoop the foliage, it's hardly possible to ride a Phiomia around. They are a meager choice. They work very well, however, as pack mules. The much larger ancestor of water birds like the stork-crossed, the same webbed feet that allow Pelagornis to serenely maneuver along the ocean's surface, prevent it from carrying prey.
Once properly leveled, the Terra could finally be utilized as intended. Quickly move in, steal eggs or gather airdrops and get the hell out of there. Having access to higher tier implants and eggs is vital in the hunted.
This must seem suspicious. My existence, I mean. I can't force you to believe me. In fact, I can't compel anyone to do anything.
How can these tribal leaders be so short-sighted?
Opportunist takes it all. Oh, nice. A beta implant. This one is not only needed for tier 5 saddles, you will also need them to craft construction extensions, so you can expand the borders of your kingdom.
Well, I found the report on Mr. CrEaToXx Ark. Even if it doesn't.
The most interesting thing that I've observed about Melian's animals has been what they don't do. She's not bad company either. At least when she's not. Sometimes it's like speaking a new language. But it's been kind of refreshing.
Okay. That's important to notice. In the Hunted 2.0, Rain isn't a flyer's friend. It will force any flyer to find a place to land quickly or suffer from the consequences, which are extremely fast stamina consumption and torpor buildup. You can't get up here, can you? Yeah, I have the high ground, bitch. All those nice new items and weapons are put to use right away. For me, finally having access to a fabricator marks the transition from an early game survivor to a mid-game hunter. The days where Takkar was continuously forced to be on the run are over. From here, Takkar finally began to dominate his kingdom. Brewing beer is very important for many high-tier recipes and kibble. You want to start producing it as soon as possible. The mod in action is called Scribbles, and basically just adds text signs and boards with more functions. I have no idea why the vanilla game wasn't making more sophisticated use of text, journals, and proper mapping. Now, let's go tame a proper workforce. The Jerboa in the Hunted 2.0 has a range of extended features. It will reduce weight by 50% based on level, has one of the highest inventory weight stats, and it will detect and warn you of close-by enemies, just like the Parasaur. So, in all regards, this was a major shoulder upgrade. access to a flyer, Takkar's routine during night shift usually includes hunting for high-tier air and Santa drops. Of course, the range to hunt for Santa drops was greatly increased. It was unusual in the current playthrough that Takkar had late access to humans, simply because there were no proper tribes around. The mod in action is named Human NPCs. Close-by resources became more sparse, and the harvesting grounds had to be properly structured. At one point in the future, there's barely anything left. The Morellatops in the Hunted 2.0 has been greatly improved as well. It can jump, has a charge attack similar to the Patchy, but with higher damage output, and it has significant spoil time reduction for eatables. But this doesn't come without trade-off. It is extremely vulnerable to all ranged venom and spit attacks, and extremely sensible to cold weather. Its water tank will slow it down and reduce inventory weight over time when filled, and it is an extremely bad swimmer. Losses will always hurt, but sometimes you just can't prevent some of your working dinos getting killed. Building strong defensive measures takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. This mod is named Dino Patrols, and I just recently added it to my list. I have no excuse why I wasn't using it earlier, because it's one of the finest mods I'm using, for sure. It does a lot to help getting your dinos organized. Takkar indeed was getting better at this, steady as he goes. See you guys around.